Good day, everyone. My name is Jared G. Gonzalez, the reporters for today and hosting. We will start up our reporting. First reporter is Jared G. Gonzalez. His report is Global OSH data. Good day, everyone. My name is Jared G. Gonzalez. The assigning topic for me is Global OSH data. Based on the International Labour Organization or ILO, 2008 showed that close to 50% of work-related deaths occur in Asia. In industrial developing countries, fatality rates are 5 to 6 times higher than in industrial nations, and in developing countries where every year around 170,000 agricultural workers and 320,000 people die from exposure to biological risks such as bacterial insects or animal related. Then every 15 seconds 160 workers have a work-related accident, and every 15 seconds a worker dies from a worker-related to accident or disease. Then next bullet is every day 6,300 people die as a result of occupational. Then over 337 million accidents occur on the job annually. Then 2.3 million deaths per year. Ayun na yung kabuuan sa buong mundo. Then, yung mga example nito yung kanina is yung ito yung mga sa farmer, then sila yung nakakaranas ng mga, syempre, dahil sa malapit sila sa mga sa exposure sila sa mga agricultural, sila yung mga nag-aano ng bacteria saka insect po, saka sila yung gumagamit ng mga pesticide. Then yung sa work-related po, and po, then yung mga hanap buhay, then job annually po. Ayan, mga example na picture. Then yung death varies for worldwide. More people die each year from occupational injuries and disease than from other major causes that are much more visible and increase. Then the ILO and WHO or World Health Organization statistics reflect that global fatalities are as follows. Then 2.78 million workers die each year from workplace causes, with 2.4 millions of this dying from occupational disease. Then by comparison, 381,000 of this die from occupational injuries. That total global fatalities amount to the 7,600 deaths every day. Then ito po yung charts ng makikita natin yung armed conflict and violence is 0.66%. Then yung road traffic is 12.5%. Then HIV or AIDS is 10%. Then yung occupational injuries and the disease is 23.4%. Ayun yung sinasabi po dito is mas mataas yung occupational injuries and disease na nakakuha ng mga tao. Yun po. Next reporter is Christopher Leon Sobrebega. This reporter is Philippines Labor Statistic Data.
Good day everyone, my name is Nian Sobrebega and I'm here today to talk about Philippine Labor Statistics data. You will see the tables regarding the Philippine labor employment rate and the Philippine underemployment rate and so on and so forth. For Table 1, the labor force participation rate. The meaning of participation rate is the participation of people or the population that is either working or actively looking for work. As you can see here, the labor force participate percentage in February 2022 is estimated at 63.8, higher than the LFPR in January 2022 and at the same month of 2021. January 2022 and 2021 has the same rate. However, in January 2022, there are 45.94 million Filipinos in that labor force. This was higher compared to 45.21 million Filipinos in the labor force at the same period last year. In February 2021, the 63.5% is translated to 47.3 million Filipinos. The 63.8% LFPR in the February 2022 is translated to 48.61 million Filipinos either looking for jobs or work. And Table 2 is all about Philippines employment rate. The employment rate in the country for the first quarter of 2022 has ameliorated from 91.2 in January and February to 93.6 this year. Table 3. Philippines employed people. The number of employed people in the Philippines in the first 2 months of 2022 increased by 2.46 million from 43.02 million in January 2022 to 45.48 million in February 2022. As we all know, at the midst of January 2022, that is the time that we have the highest COVID cases here in the Philippines ever since the pandemic started. Table 4. Philippines underemployment rate. Underemployment rate are the one who are underemployed person who have additional hours of work or time in their lives, or should we say, they have their own time to work on. End of February 2022, the underemployment rate is 14%. This was lower than the 14.90 reported in January 2022. Then it has been reported that in January 2022, there were 8.9 of people who works less than 40 hours, and in 5.9 who works at least 40 hours in a week. In February 2022, there were 9.2% of people who work less than 40 hours, higher than the reported 8.9 in January 2022, and 4.8 who works at least 40 hours in a week. Table number 5 is all about Philippine unemployed rate. So when the first quarter of 2022, the country's unemployed rate was reported as 6.4%. This was lower than the unemployment rate of 8.8% in the same month of 2021. Table number 6. The Philippines unemployed people. In the Philippines, the number of people that is unemployed diminished to 2.87 million in January 2022, down from 3.27 million in December 2021. January and February has the same rate of 6.4% of unemployed people. However, in February 2022, there are 3.13 million individuals with no job, since there are more Filipinos joined the labor force of the same month. These are the top 5 measures with the largest increase in employment of month-on-month of comparison. Agriculture and forestry has the highest increase of employed people with 1.44 million, then the human health and social work activity with 108,000 in February. Now, we have the top 5 major industries with the largest drop in employment. The largest drop of employed people is the water supply industry with 44,000, and the highest drop is from administrative and support service activity. Table number 7. Philippines labor statistics by sex. In February 2022, men had higher labor force participation rate at 75.7% and women with 51.8%. And next, men had higher employment rate at 94.1% than women at 92.8%. Moreover, the underemployment rate was higher among men at 15.2% compared to 12.2% among women. Lastly, unemployment rate was higher among women at 7.2% compared to 5.9% among men. And that's all for the labor force participation rate topic.
The third reporter is Jared G. Gonzalez. His reporter is distribution of accident per region.
Topic.
Then ako po ulit yung si Jared G. Gonzalez. Then distribution accident per region 2017. Then ito po yung chart. Then yung the top 3 regions in terms of number of deaths by usual residents were found in Luzon, Calabarzon with 84,971 or 17%, followed by NCR with 13%, the Central Zone with 11.7%. The combined share of these three regions was the percent of total deaths. On the other hand, the 3 regions which had the least number of deaths were ARMM or 3,3600 or 5%, and CAR is 1.4%, and Caraga is 2.6%. This number accounted for only 4% of the total death in the country. May kita natin dito na kung sino yung mas mataas na accident sa per region. Ang mas mataas kasi ngayon is yung itong region 4, then sumunod yung NCR, then yung pinakamababa daw po is yung ARMM saka yung Caraga. Yun lang po. Distribution of deaths by age and sex 2017. In 2017, the number of deaths in the males is 3,032, 500, with higher than deaths in female 2,446,720. This translates to a sex ratio of 137, which means that there are 137 male deaths for every 100 female deaths. In the Philippines, it is clearly shown that male die at the higher rate that female before reaching the age of 80 years, with the greatest difference observed at the age 60 to 64 years. Mas maraming namamatay na lalaki at the age of 65 to 69 kaysa sa babae na umaabot sila ng 85 above. Then, mas maraming namamatay na lalaki yun lang po. So, dito po sa Common Occupational Illness Employee Compensation Claims, makikita po natin sa table na ang iba't ibang type of disease, then total cases and percentage distribution. Ang mas mataas po yung back pain, essential hypertension, neck shoulder pain, and occupational asthma, and etc. po. Tapos, ang next po nito is yung 7 common illness or disease po na re-report po ni Isabella. The next reporter is Abelia Alexis. Her report is Common Occupational Illness Employees Compensation Claim. Next, the fifth topic is situational and concerns. and the reporters is Alexis Abella.
Good day everyone, my name is Alexis Abella, and at the end of my discussion, I'm expecting you to learn and to identify the 7 common occupational diseases and the issues and concerns of OSH. So first, let me discuss the occupational diseases, and first on the list is the dermatitis. So eczema or dermatitis, um, here is the example picture of the dermatitis. It's first on the list. So it's characterized by itchy, scaly, or red skin. Working with dermatitis can be extremely painful and debilitating. It's important for both employees and employers to be aware of the early signs of work-related dermatitis. So, as gaining treatment early on can help to prevent symptoms from becoming more severe. Second on the list is the respiratory illnesses. You can see here the second picture and the list. Because some common work-related respiratory illnesses are asthma, silicosis, bronchitis, and pneumoconiosis. All of these lung and respiratory problems can be caused by poor workplace conditions. Third on the list is the musculoskeletal. Most musculoskeletal symptoms in workers were from the low back, shoulders, and necks. Here, work were strongly significantly associated with musculoskeletal symptoms and pain in the neck, shoulders, wrists, and hands. It may cause repetitive movements, and also discomfort postures could be reduced with stretching exercise. So it's important for us, not only for the workers, to stretch our bodies. And for the fourth list is the hearing loss. There are a number of ways hearing loss can occur. First is by noise, vibration, and orthotoxic substances. Hearing loss can be permanent in workers, which destroy their ability to hear clearly. It makes it more difficult for them to hear sounds, including those that are necessary to work safely, such as verbal instructions, even warning signals. Hazardous noise in a workplace can be created by mechanical impacts, high-velocity air or fluid flow, and the vibrating surfaces of a machine or of the product being manufactured. Other examples you can see are loud music in clubs, theaters, or shops, or by being exposed to traffic noise, including earthquakes. So, next is cancer. So, occupational cancers are those that occur due to exposure to carcinogenic or cancer-causing agents in the workplace. Such exposures includes a wide range of different industrial chemicals, dust, metals, and combustion products. Example of the combustion products is diesel. Next is forms of radiation, ultraviolet or ionizing radiation. Next is stress and mental health disorder. While stress in itself is not a disease, if it persists, it can lead to mental health problems, as well as poor general health and well-being, lower productivity, and increased sickness absence. Psychological injury is the main form of injury associated with work-related stress. Signs of stress in the workplace can occur due to demand expectation at work not appropriately matched with the worker's needs, abilities, skills, and coping strategies. Events occurring in the worker's personal life. A combination of experiences and events occurring in the workplace in the worker's personal life. Next, but not the least, is infectious diseases. So, infectious diseases are caused by organisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Some infectious diseases can be passed from person to person or from animal to person. Workers can be exposed to a number of different types of infectious diseases, including airborne, bloodborne, contact, and zoonotic diseases. So, for the second topic, we have here the OSH issues and concerns. First is unsafe working conditions affect workers' health and productivity. Of course, if the working environment is not safe, it will affect the mental and productivity of the workers. Second is for low compliance of OSH standards. This is a concern because some work environments don't abide by the OSH standards because some are lacking knowledge. Absence of strict penalties. So the highest you can get by that abiding by the standards is paying a fine, so stricter punishments can help hammer down the rules. Fragment OSH Fragmented OSH administration. There is no central authority to coordinate all OSH efforts, so most people do not generally pay attention to the OSH rules. Outdated OSH standards. As the implementation of the OSH standards, it lessened the injuries in the workplace environment. But surely there is need for new and updated standards to protect workers from other processes of injuries such as biological or chemical safety. Inadequate number of OSH personnel. Due to the small amount of people managing or teaching OSH standards, not all can have their services. Weak enforcement OSH. This is all due to the reason listed about why OSH have a weak enforcement. That's all. Thank you.
Mark Vincent Bulawan, the 6 reporters, and the topic report assigned his is emerging OSH issue.
I am Mark Vincent Bulawan, and I will discuss the topic of emerging OSH issues. Aside from the aforementioned problems and concerns, there are emerging OSH issues that we should be taking account. Some of them are women's worker issues. Women continue to encounter challenges when advancing in the workplace. Around the world, finding a job is much tougher for women than for men. This is because women have many responsibilities besides having a job. They are also responsible for being a wife and a mother in their respective homes, which also impacts how a woman performs at work and increases the stress she already experienced on the job. And among all the hardship a woman carries, being pregnant is the most complex and dangerous part. When a woman is pregnant, the risks she faces at work can impact her unborn child and her reproductive health. Next, emerging OSH issues is all about child labor. 250 million children work as laborers worldwide, with 3.7 million working in the Philippines. 2.2 million of them work dangerous occupation. These threats, such as exposure to potentially harmful chemical or sharp objects, may be less evident but are no less risky. Children were frequently required to work long shifts with little downtime, which hinders their physical development. Their employment significantly impact the quality of child's life in this form of works, and in extreme circumstances, it may even result in death or severe disability. Research conducted by the OSHC on the agriculture, mining, fishing, and shoe industry contributed to the creation of regulation and lobbying efforts to keep kids out of dangerous jobs. According to the ILO data of 2020 child labor statistics, 160 million children worldwide are engaging in child labor, and the 79 million are the children to do hazardous job in the age of 5-17. Data, boys have a highest data rate of 11.2%, than girls got 7.8%, which it is more prevalent in child labor by every age. Data, 72.1% the children work with their own family to contribute and helping them to their poor sustainability life. 17.3% are employees and 10.7% are on-account workers. And last for the data, 70.0% the children work in agricultural sector, 19.7% in services, and the rest of 10.3% in industry.
Emerging OSH issue will be tackled is all about OSH in the informal sector, agriculture, schools, and etc. One of the major issues here is the application of pesticide on farms. Farmers who handle pesticides may be uninformed of the risks they face. The health of a worker who is constantly exposed is severely harmed. Workers may even transport chemical residues home when handling pesticides, which might impact their families and the neighborhood. Another emerging issue is within the informal sector. A large informal sector is linked to low productivity, decreased tax revenues, lousy governance, excessive regulation, poverty, and income inequality. Although providing the benefit of employment flexibility in some economies, there are very few mechanisms on OSH for the informal sector. Even though they employ more than half of the workers, the industry urgently needs OSH knowledge since workers sometimes neglect such factors to maintain their standards of living. Another issue is the children face many risks every day, whether at school or not. Since the government mandates attendance at school, it is ultimately responsible for ensuring student health safety while on school. In school, they are exposed to dangers like chemicals and electricity, and hazing and bullying. Numerous activities that school participate in pose a variety of risks. These risks and hazards must be handled to protect the safety of employees, students, and others.
And last for emerging OSH issues, occupational lifestyle diseases. People are predisposed to various diseases based on their way of living and occupational habits. Diseases associated with an occupational lifestyle include those brought on by environmental variables such as heat, sound, dust, fume, smoking, cold, and other contaminants. Allergies, respiratory and hearing issues, and heat or cold shocks are all the causes. Therefore, to battle their disease, adopting a healthy lifestyle that includes a well-balanced diet, regular exercise, and respect for the biological clock is necessary. Especially that in this revolutionized era, we cannot stop doing developmental work, but we can certainly reduce our ailments by incorporating these simple and effective measures into our lives.
Last topic po namin is yung Dolly Hats work at QC construction site over mishap. Dito po natin i-relate yung mga topic po namin na diniscuss about dito sa balita na to. And the Department of Labor and Employment's National Capital Region has issued a work stoppage order on construction site in Quezon City where an accident occurred earlier in this week. Then yung Dolly NCR Regional Director Sarah Mirasol said that Order was issued on Wednesday after they found several violations during an inspection of construction site. Dito na po na ang sabi po ni Director Mirasol is bago po mangyari yung accident is nakita nila yung several violation during the inspection. Then, tinuloy pa rin po ata nila yung construction. Kaya nagkaroon po ng an accident earlier this week. Then, ang mangyayari po dito, marerelate po natin dito sa topic namin is yung OSH issue and concern. Ang concern po ng mga construction worker dahil ina-authorize lang naman po sila ng mga high employers sa kanila. Then yung emerging OSH issue po. Then yung ang possible po dito is yung mga yung mga na-accident po is madadagdag sa global data natin, no. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat. At yun na po natatapos ang aming report. Thank you for the listening and watching.